A pleasant day to everyone. This is a lesson on the police organization, lesson 3, which focuses on the DILG and the NAPOLCOM and the relative relationship of these two with respect to peace and order and public safety. This is once more Dr. Ariel D. Manlusok, the director of the ADMRC and the college dean. The Department of the Interior and the Local Government, also known in Tagalog as the Kagawaran ng Interyor at Pamahalaang Lokal. The Department of the Interior and Local Government, take note, Department of the Interior and Local Government, because that was given in the board exam, no? When we're in some of the choices, simply state Department of Interior. There is a missing word, the. So this was formerly known as the Department of Local Government, which actually originated long time ago in our history since the time of the Spanish colonizations, although it was been arbitrarily been dissolved and revived again, then resolved and dissolved and revived again until such time that now it is now called as the Department of the Interior and Local Government. Okay, it was only reorganized by virtue of Republic Act 6975, otherwise known as the DILG Act of 1990. So yung batas po na nag-transform from DLG to DILG is none other than Republic Act 6975. Na madali po siyang tandaan because there's the word 69, which is a common number, and 75. Okay? And this was law approved on December 13 of 1990 and was implemented later on after its publications. Okay? Now let's look at the organizational setup because many are confused about where does the PNP really under. Yan, isa sa malaking tanong na iba-iba ang sagot ng iba't ibang tao. Minsan maging ang kapulisyahan ay nalilito, saan ba talaga under ang Philippine National Police? Now, looking at this organizational structure, you will see that there is the word secretary on the left side, which stands for the office of the Department of the Interior and Local Government proper. Then there is a line, okay, to the left and to the right, down to the so-called Board of Trustees, which is because of the so-called Local Government Academy, which is actually not yet fully operated, and the other one is the Philippine Public Safety College, which is existing right now, okay, which is also created pursuant to the Republic Act 6975. But looking on the right side, you will notice that there is a dotted line, no, or broken line between or connecting the secretary to the National Police Commission. Now, reason for that is because based on the principle, no, base sa principle ng administration policy, an office that is connected by a dotted line is not directly under each one. Hindi po sila under sa isa't isa. Rather, sila po'y kailangan magkaroon ng koordinasyon sa isa't isa. And that is the relationship that exists between the DILG and the NAPOLCOM. The NAPOLCOM is attached to the DILG for purposes of, take note, for purposes of plans, programs, policy, programs, coordination. So the correct word is coordination, no? So that they will coordinate to come up with a more reliable and more reasonable policies and program, more particularly as regards to peace and order and other aspects, okay, of the local government. So, if you will read Republic Act 6975, it's clear that there are three bureau, no, also known as the Tri-Bureau, created under the Department of the Interior and Local Government. And that stands for the Bureau of Fire, the Bureau of Jail, and the Philippine National Police. But looking at the organizational chart, you will see that the Bureau of Fire Protection and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology are actually under the DILG. Now, as you can see, it's under the DILG. But the Philippine National Police ang ating kapulisyan is under the NAPOLCOM. Yan. So, to resolve the issue, it is simply described as this. Ang PNP ay na-create by virtue of the DILG Act. Okay? The same is true with BJMP, BFP, and the Philippine Public Safety College. But the Constitution, particularly the Article 16, Section 6 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution under the General Provision, malinaw pong nakasaad na kailangan magkaroon ng isang kapulisyahan, no, na national in scope and civilian in character to be administered by the NAPOLCOM. Now, issue. Saan ba talaga under ang PNP? Now, looking at the premise, what gives NAPOLCOM the power for administrative supervision and control over the PNP is the Constitution. What makes DILG, okay, powerful over the PNP is merely because of Republic Act 6975. And that is why the NAPOLCOM filed a petition to the Supreme Court questioning the validity and legality of that specific provision of the DILG. Thus, the Supreme Court review and prove that NAPOLCOM is the one who is, to exercise, or who has the power to exercise over the PNP, because Constitution cannot be amended by a mere Republic Act. Okay, so I hope that will clarify that the Tri-Bureau are created under the law of DILG. That's true. But the PNP is under the NAPOLCOM in terms of administrative supervision and operational control, not the DILG. But what is ironic somehow is the secretary of the DILG is at the same time the ex officio chairman of the NAPOLCOM. Although ang excuse ng gumawa ng batas ay meron namang pong 4 na regular commissioner ang NAPOLCOM. Although that's true. But if we really want to streamline the function of this bureau, or rather this department and this commission, I believe, on my opinion, we should have to appoint an independent chairman of the NAPOLCOM who must be civilian, not a politician. For what reason? So that the Philippine National Police will be totally a civilian in character and not political by nature. Because with this kind of structure, it's very obvious that up to now, the politicians are in control over the Philippine National Police. Okay? So, the DILG is assisted by 2 undersecretary, 1 for the local government and 1 for peace and order, and further assisted by 3 assistant secretary, so on and so forth. So that is how the DILG is related to the National Police Commission. I hope that's clear. Okay. Now let's itemize what composes the DILG. Okay, so this is now the organization, consists of the department proper, as what you see in the organizational chart, the existing bureaus and offices of the DILG. Siyempre, hindi mawawala ang mga local government units already existing, such as the provincial, the city, and the municipal offices. Then we have the National Police Commission. We have the Philippine Public Safety College. But take note, the power of Philippine Public Safety College to train the members of the Philippine National Police has been amended. Why? Because pursuant to RA 11279, again, RA 11279, okay, the Philippine National Police Academy and the National Police Training Institute, which are formerly under the Philippine Public Safety College, are now transferred to the Philippine National Police. So practically, the training of non-commissioned officers of the PNP is now turned over to the Philippine National Police. Although the power of the Philippine Public Safety College to train the commissioned officers of the PNP still remains to be under its power, and the power of PPSC to train personnel of the BFP and the BJMP still exists. Okay? Then we have the Philippine National Police, we have the BJMP, and the Bureau of Fire Protection. So that will comprises the so-called Department of the Interior and Local Government pursuant to 6975. So, as you can see, I mentioned already that the PPSC, PNP, BFP, and BJMP, ang apat po na yan ay na-create pursuant to 6975. The DILG is headed by Secretary who is appointed by the President. Malinaw po yan, ha? Ang Secretary po ay ina-appoint ng Presidente. But that position is subject to confirmation by the Commission on Appointment. Okay? Assisted by 2 undersecretary, 3 assistant secretary. The 2 undersecretary I already discussed a while ago. And for anyone who is a former member of the military or police force, there is a prohibition, no, that they cannot be appointed as secretary of the DILG within the period of 1 year from the date of their retirement or resignation. So, ibig sabihin, once you retire as a military or police official, hindi ka pwedeng ma-appoint agad, no, as secretary within the period of 1 year. Okay. So I said also that the secretary of the DILG also acts as an ex officio chairman of the NAPOLCOM. Now, what is the meaning of ex officio? Some might ask. Ex officio is a Latin word. The meaning of it in English is by virtue of his office or position. Okay? By virtue of his office or position. Anong ibig sabihin? Ibig sabihin, dahil siya ay secretary ng DILG, automatically, siya ay ex officio chairman ng NAPOLCOM. Pero he does not receive a separate salary as ex officio chairman because he can only earn one salary under one government position. No? For purposes of ex officio chairman position, he may only receive some form of allowances. Okay? Because we have the policy of double compensation which is prohibited in the public service. Okay. So the moment the secretary was removed from his office because his position is at the pleasure of the President. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Mananatili siyang sekretarya hanggat siya'y pinagkakatiwalaan ng Presidente. So wala pong specific tenure ang secretary. So kung ayaw na sa kanya ng Presidente, kahit wala pa siyang 1 taon, pwede siyang tanggalin ng Presidente. Ngayon, kahit 3 years na siya nasa posisyon, basta gusto siya ng Presidente, pwede siyang tumagal hanggat nandyan si Presidente at siya gusto ng Presidente. Yun po ang ibig sabihin ng at the pleasure of the President. But the moment na tinanggal siya as Secretary of the DILG, automatically tanggal na rin siya as ex officio chairman of the NAPOLCOM kasi nga yung kanyang posisyon ay ex officio position by virtue of his office as a secretary of the DILG. Okay. Let's go to the powers and function. Now, basically, alam natin na ang primary function ng DILG is divided into 2. Peace and order and public safety. Okay? So, the very doctrine that runs in the system is for purposes of peace and order and local government supervisions and streamlining. That is why the Secretary of the DILG is the assistant of the President when it comes to supervising the different local governments in the country. As a matter of fact, he has the power to give disciplinary actions to erring local officials. Another, he served as the advisor of the President in terms of policy, programs, and regulation formulation as long as it is associated to public safety and order and local government supervision. Establish rules, regulations, and normally with the coordination of the NAPOLCOM because that is how they should work together. Also, the power to provide assistance towards legislation as long as it pertains to the local government, law enforcement, and public safety. Okay? Organize and train, equip all, no? Okay, primarily the bureaus which are created under its law. Although, as we said a while ago, that the police force is actually under the NAPOLCOM. Okay? And we also have now the relationship. Now, what is the relationship of the DILG with that of the Department of National Defense? In the original setting of Republic Act 6975, pag pinag-usapan po natin ang panglabas na seguridad ng bansa, ito po'y pangunahing tungkulin ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. Samantalang ang panglabas na seguridad ng bansa ay magiging tungkulin ng DILG. Yan po'y sang-ayon sa RA 6975. But this provision was amended. Ito po'y nabago ng Republic Act 8551. Otherwise known as the PNP Reform and Reorganizational Act of 1998, whereby it's stated that whether it is internal or external security of the entire country, the primary agency involved or entrusted with the power and duty is the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The PNP will be a support unit or a support bureau through information gathering and definitely the performance of their ordinary and regular police functions. Okay? So that is how the DILG and the DND should work together. Now, why DND? Because the Armed Forces of the Philippines is under the Department of National Defense. Okay? But I think we have to clarify also here that the PNP, through the DILG, or much correct, through the NAPOLCOM. Okay? Okay. Then, the National Police Commission. Ito na po, ang Pambansang Komisyon ng Pulisya. Originally, this agency was created as POLCOM, by virtue of Republic Act 4864. Okay? This is an attached agency to the DILG for policy and coordinations or program coordination. It shall exercise administrative control and operational supervision over the PNP. Okay. Composition. As I mentioned a while ago, the NAPOLCOM is composed of the chairman, which is no less than the secretary of the DILG as an ex officio chairman, and 4 regular commissioner, with the chief PNP and as ex officio member. Take note, member ex officio, because by virtue of his position as chief PNP, he is a member of the NAPOLCOM. Okay, their term of office is only good for 6 years. So the moment the 6 years lapse, they cannot be reappointed. Okay? With the exemption definitely of the secretary as ex officio chairman, because as we said, he is at the pleasure of the president. Okay? And the chief PNP has the maximum term of only 4 years. So, hindi niya naabutin yung 6 years na yan. So, practically, that 6 years is applicable to the 4 regular commissioner of the NAPOLCOM. Okay. So, how these 4 regular commissioners should be created? Okay. Yung 4 na regular commissioner, according to the law, must be coming from the civilian sector. Okay? Ang ilan po? Ang 3. 3 out of 4 should come from the civilian sector, not a former member of the police or military. So, hindi sila pwedeng police, militar, or dating police or dating militar. So, ibig sabihin, isa lang ang po pwedeng maging dating member ng PNP or military para pumasok as regular commissioner. Okay. Now, the 4th commissioner shall come from the law enforcement, as I have said. Okay? Either active or retired, provided that if he is an active member of the law enforcement agency, he shall be resigned from his position. Okay? subject to the appointment and by the conferment of the Commission on Appointment. Okay. Take note that sa apat na regular commissioner, dapat at least isa sa kanila ay babae. One of them must be a woman. Okay? And from among the three, dun sa tatlo, no, na civilian sectors, okay, the vice chairperson shall be chosen. So yung tatlo na civilian na appoint as regular commissioner, sa kanila manggagaling yung magiging vice chairperson ng NAPOLCOM. Okay? Who act as the executive officer of the commission. Okay. So that's how we relate the NAPOLCOM and the DILG. I hope that clarifies the doubts or the clouds of doubts regarding the organization. Now, what about the qualification? To become a member or a commissioner, you must be a citizen of the Philippines. You must be a lawyer with at least 5 years experience in handling criminal or human rights cases. Or, kung hindi ka naman lawyer with at least 5 years, at least you must be a holder of master's degree either in public administration, sociology, criminology, criminal justice, law enforcement, and other related discipline. Okay? So yan po yung mga basic requirements for you to be qualified for appointment. No? But they thought this is by appointment, not by election. Okay. Now, what about if a member of the NAPOLCOM was terminated or become incapacitated? How does succession work? Ganito po yun. Kapag may isa o dalawa sa miyembro ng NAPOLCOM ang naging temporarily incapacitated, meaning say hindi niya pansamantala magampanan ng kanyang tungkulin, the vice chair shall serve as the chairperson in case na kung ang naging incapacitate ay si chairperson. Ibig sabihin, kung yung mismong chairperson ang na-incapacitate, si vice chair aakyat temporarily hanggang sa si chairperson ay makarecover sa kanyang kondisyon. Pero kung si chairperson ay halimbawa ano ba yung term na tsugi? Namatay, no? Death, or permanently incapacitated, hindi niya na magagawa yung kanyang tungkulin totally. So the acting chairperson shall also act as such. So si vice chairperson ang magiging acting chairperson hanggat wala pang nai-appoint na new chairperson. Ang presidente at nag-qualified ito based on the standards set by the Commission on Appointment. Okay. Member becomes removed or disqualified or was incapacitated permanently. How does this member can be replaced? The rule is any member of the commission who is a commissioner by position, okay, who was removed, no, except when it is through expiration of term. So halimbawa, hindi pa tapos yung 6 years, natanggal ang isa sa regular commissioner, paano po siya papalitan? He can be replaced by a new one. But the new appointee will serve only for the unexpired. Ibig sabihin, yung hindi pa natatapos na term, yun lang ang kanyang pagsisilbihan. Pero ang maganda ron, since ang pinagsilbihan niya lang ay yung natirang term, nung natanggal na commissioner, pwede pa siyang ma-appoint for a full-time tenure of 6 years. Ibig sabihin, pwede siyang ma-re-appoint for a 6 years regular appointment or full term. Okay? So I hope I was able to shed clear clarity on the reorganization of the DILG and the relationship of the NAPOLCOM. Okay. Now, just an addition, but we will discuss this more when we go to disciplinary body. No, two of the offices under the NAPOLCOM that you should also know is the National Appellate Board and the Regional Appellate Board. They are the disciplinary body under the National Police Commission. Okay, they have their separate powers. But to give you a little insight, the NAB or National Appellate Board only accepts appeal from those administrative cases that were decided by the Chief PNP or by the National IAS. Okay? Yan po ang National Appellate Board na binubuo po ng 4 ng regular commissioner and chaired by the executive officer. On the other hand, so much for bearing with me. God bless you and see you for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the button if you want to be updated of the latest lectures that we have. Thank you so much and God bless. To that aspects